Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and thank you for being here. Welcome to all of the new subscribers. Can you believe we've got, it's just a little podcast, I know, but I'm excited to see the numbers building. We have 6,200 downloads now, and the podcast is, well, I've been doing it seriously for about a year. So I feel really happy about that. And I just want to say thank you so much. I'm really pleased that it's landing for you and that you're enjoying the content. So today what I want to do is talk with you about how you can fill your diary in 21 days or even less using some tools that we share in the private practice method. And the reason that this is so important is because I'm in a few different groups online for counselors and psychologists and social workers, and at the moment we're coming into the holiday season, and there's already some fear around how are we going to keep these diaries going, especially with some of the changes that we've had now. I'm speaking about Australia. I'm sure all over the world different things are happening in terms of being able to deliver services face to face or deliver them online. So everyone's sort of in a little bit of a state of flux. I know in Melbourne I've been speaking to some women that are in private practice, and we've been given permission to return to face-to-face work as long as we're in protective equipment with our goggles and masks and visors and all this sort of stuff. But even now there is still a number of women who are a bit nervous about going back to face in case we're in lockdown again in a few weeks. So there's kind of a bunch of people here that are taking a wait and see approach, which is absolutely fine. Others have gone back, and others are like me and they're just going to remain, entirely online. But it doesn't matter which one of those three areas you're in, you're probably experiencing and can experience some shifts as we come into that real holiday season. And this is such an important topic, and it's one that I'm really passionate about, because you're going to hear a lot of people tell you that it goes very quiet over Christmas. There's that camp of people. There's another camp of people that says Christmas is their busiest period. I guess it really depends on a few factors. It depends on the demographic that you're working with. It depends on your hours, and it depends on the key performance indicators that you do track for your beautiful soul-led private practice. And those key performance indicators are different for everyone, but you should always be measuring things like income, impact, and retention. They're three sort of essential ones, and yes, we go into that a little bit more in the private practice method, and the women in there also get access to my dashboard that I use. It's this beautiful spreadsheet that automatically calculates everything, because one of my words this year was simplify. I started the year with two girlfriends, and we had this little sort of support space that we'd created online. One of those girlfriends isn't in our group anymore, but the other lady and I are still in it together. And every week we meet on the weekend on Zoom, and we check in with each other. We set goals for the week ahead. We check in on, whether or not we achieve the goals that we just set. And this is kind of how we've been staying on track. But coming into the holiday season, there's absolutely no reason, I don't believe, why you should have an empty diary. And for those of you who are new, there are lots of people at the moment that have just got their qualifications. It's that time of the year in Australia. People have now been given their qualifications as a counsellor, a social worker, a psychologist, and now they're saying, well, I want to really step into a private practice space, but how am I going to fill my diary? So there's lots of concern about referrals. So I want to speak to you about how you can do that, because the harsh reality is if you don't have referrals coming in, you kind of don't really have a practice. Now, it doesn't cost much to establish a private practice or get it set up and running. You can absolutely bootstrap that in the early days. That's fine. I think you could start one for under a few $100s. However, you do need to have those referrals coming in, and there are some mistakes that people make, and I want to give you guys some tools and tips on how you can avoid those mistakes. So one of the big things is there's some industry leaders that tell you, to get referrals, what you need to do is send a fax, and you must send that fax to all of the doctors in your area. Well, that's only going to work for some of you. It's not going to work for all of you, because if you're like me and you're entirely private and your clients aren't accessing Medicare or other types of funding, it's unlikely your referrals are going to come from doctors, number one. Number two, it's simply not enough to send a fax off. At the end of the year in Australia anyway, faxes won't actually be legally acceptable for medical centres. So you're going to have to get yourself set up anyway with some kind of email system like Argus compliant that will allow you to send communications to medical clinics and to doctors themselves. However, even doing that isn't going to be enough to get you on a list or to get you known or to get those referrals coming. People are also going to suggest to you it's a really great idea for you to go and have lunchbox meetings with doctors at their clinics. If you want to do that, go for it. But again, there are some people that do this really well, and most people don't. Most people will spend money on getting the pens with their private practice name printed on them, little sticky notes, little promotional bits and pieces. They'll ring ahead, find out what the doctors want for lunch, they'll organise lunch, they'll go down to the medical practice, and they're really lucky if a doctor even bothers to turn up for the lunch. It's just not a priority because every single day of the year someone's turning up giving the doctor's lunch. And then when you are lucky enough to see a doctor, often, not all of the time, but often the doctors are just going to grab something to eat, nod at you and smile and leave. They might ask you a couple of cursory questions, but that's pretty much it. And I think the fact that referrals aren't coming through in this way is partly a consequence of how things happen in medical centres, but it's also a consequence of naivety on your part. You have to remember, guys, you are women in private practice that are in a helping role. So help. This is the thing. My alarm's going off at 6 a.m. here. Okay. Yeah, you are... sorry, just turned the alarm off there. You are in the business of helping people. So why on earth would you go to a doctor clinic and just throw your stuff at them and expect that you're going to get referrals? It doesn't work like that. So number one, it really is about going in there with the mindset of how can I be helpful? And do you know what? I would take minimal marketing stuff, minimal. Because it can serve as a red flag. Think about it this way. Think about when you're walking through the supermarket and somebody's got a clipboard or somebody's waving a free sachet of moisturizer from the Dead Sea at you, and they're trying to get your attention and they're walking over to you, and your first instinct is to walk away. That's how it is in a doctor's clinic, I think. And again, not all the time, but generally. So I think instead of being that, a woman in private practice that's approaching the doctor with a sachet of moisturizer from the Dead Sea, I would just rather you go maybe empty-handed, just take a business card if you want. I would just go there and I would treat it as if it were almost like, don't get me wrong here and misquote me, but almost like a counselling session intake. in that you want to kind of see them as the client, getting that mindset that this doctor is the client, or this NDIS support coordinator is the client, or this nonprofit is the client. And in your head, just try and do a bit of an intake. Ask them, why did you become a doctor? Why did you choose to work here? In this, like, why did you come and work in Frankston? You could have worked anywhere. Why did you pick a low socioeconomic area? Do you live locally? Ask them what they enjoy about being a doctor. Ask them about family. Are you married? Do your kids go to school around here? Oh, so do mine. What kinds of things are clients or patients presenting with at the moment? Let the doctor inform you about, well, we're seeing a lot of depression at the moment, or anxiety's through the roof at the moment because of isolation and lockdown and COVID, or we've had a lot of suicides, or, let the doctor sort of have a debrief with you. And guess what? The doctor is getting to talk, number one. So in any conversation, there's a speaker and a listener, right? So you want to be the listener. This is the mistake women make when they go and they market themselves. They go there and they go, me, 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 and then they leave and wonder why they don't get a referral. It's not about you. Make it about the doctor. So ask them what they're seeing. A lot of ask them what they need some support with. The doctor, not the client. Don't say, what do your clients need support with? No. The doctor is your client. Ask the doctor, how can I support you? Would it be helpful for you if I sent you through a list of new contact numbers in our area for, crisis support, depression support, anxiety, e-health, this, that, and the other? Ask the doctor what they need, find out, and then provide it if you can, right? This is you being helpful. So I believe that if you're leading your business from your soul is giving, your soul is generous, has compassion, and is kind. And so you have to lead with giving. Give, give, give before you ask. This is what's going to set you apart from other referrers in your area. From other psychologists and counsellors and social workers in your area that are trying to get work. That's number one. And even if you're a coach and you have an online business, it's the same thing. If you're dealing with organizations, the organization is your client, not the person that you're going to be having the one-to-one session with, right? They're attached to that client, but they're not your actual client, all right? I think too, one of the things that you need to focus on as well is when, like, I had a couple of calls this week with women that are in private practice and they're terrified that they're not going to have referrals. They've just started their private practices and they're freaking out and they're saying to me, oh, I've got a profile in psychology today. I set it up last week and I haven't had any referrals yet. Well, number one, tweak your profile. Number two, make sure it's verified and you've got everything that you need on there. Number three, don't make it like everybody else's profile. One of the things I like to do is jump into those referral sites like Psychology Today and type in counsellors in my area or social work in my area. And guess what? Nearly every profile says the exact same thing. And what do you think the experience is like for a client who's scrolling through that? If everything that people are saying is relatively similar or relatively the same, how on earth is a client going to choose? What's left to determine whether or not a client books with you? Well, then it's going to come down to your photo and whether or not they connect with you if you've put one on. And it's going to come down to maybe price or availability. And they're not the things that you want people choosing you for. You don't want people coming to you because you're the cheapest. And that's what's going to happen. If 10 of you are all saying fairly similar stuff, and I'm looking online and I'm thinking, who am I going to book a session with here? I've got these 10 women and they're all saying relatively the same stuff. Well, the only thing left for me to look at really is price. Probably most clients are going to go for who's the cheapest. That's probably not how you want to be chosen. You probably want to be chosen because your client is feeling like you understand them, you get them, you connect with them. So you can't have a dry, bland, formal, vanilla profile. You've got to have a profile that's got a bit of spice in it, that shows your personality, and that leads from your soul. Because here's the other thing. A lot of the time, you can check for yourself. Go on Psychology Today, type in, counsellors in your area or whatever, and have a read. They're nearly all very, very formally written, very, very, I just want to say like boring. Like I just want to, it's uninspiring, and it kind of makes booking an appointment almost an effort. So I think really do yourself a favor and really think about, instead of writing that profile, or instead of writing your website from your head, thinking about what your colleagues are writing on their websites and therefore yours must be similar to theirs. No, let that go. Don't worry about what they're doing. This is your practice. Stop looking at everybody else and focus on yourself for a minute. Do not write it from your head, write it from your heart. And if you need help to do that, all you need to do is, you guys all now have a sacred space. You set one up in previous podcast episodes. So set up your sacred space, and you light your candle, you get your drink of water, and you put your nice music on. You take a few deep breaths and you get in the zone. And then what happens is you ask your soul, hey, what does my beautiful client need to hear from me right now? And you just do stream of consciousness writing. Don't worry about how messy it is on your journal or how many spelling mistakes. Just get it out. And at the start, you're going to be writing from your head, sure, but you'll move into a state of flow as you're writing, and that is where the gold is. And it's that's going to become the content that sets you apart from other providers in your area, right? And that's what's going to make you highly sought after. That's number one. Number two is, of course, right, content that speaks to the transformation, not the issue. So this is the other thing that I often see, and I love working with women on their websites, because a lot of the time they just like list out 30 things they help with. They say, anxiety, depression, weight, addiction, anger, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? If I'm a client, I want to know, can you make me feel better? How can you make me feel better? What kind of transformation am I going to get from you? So I'm looking to see evidence, or I'm looking to, alarm again. I'm looking for evidence. I'm looking to see, how you can help me shift from where I am to where I would rather be. So you have to write content and copy like that on your website, on your social, in your newsletters, if you want to start attracting people to the practice instead of searching for them, okay? The other way that you're going to fill your diary in 21 days or less is making sure you have really, really sound booking systems and procedures in place. I'm not going to go into them today. You can hear more about them in the method. You can enroll in that later. I'll put together a sales page for that at some point this week perhaps, and I'll share it with you on my website and my social, but that's really key. And the other thing too is you really, really, really want to be tracking your KPIs, and there are 5 core KPIs that you want to be tracking, but one of those is absolutely either your Google Analytics, or if you're running Facebook ads, of course you want to be tracking everything that's happening on your page. Use your Pixel, get that up and going. If you get stuck with that, we've got a whole training on it that you can access next year. It's not that difficult, but you do need to get it set up, because it's going to give you really, 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 really helpful insights that can quickly transform your practice and turn a struggling fledgling practice around within that 21 days or less. I think the other thing too that we need to understand is whatever's happening in your practice right now is a direct manifestation of your past thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay, so if you went into this, or even if 2 or 3 weeks ago you were thinking, oh no, it's coming up to the holidays, it's coming up to Christmas, oh no, I'm not going to have any bookings, and you were thinking like that, and you went into scarcity mode, I bet you started thinking about your marketing, and I bet you started taking lots of action. But because you came at it from scarcity mindset and fear mindset, guess what you're going to get back? So, what you want to do is, of course, get into a vibrational frequency that's going to be really sound match for the thing that you really, really, really want to call in. And so I like to get specific with this. So for me, if I want to get new referrals or meet new clients to work with, I will set an intention that I am going to consciously manifest 10 dream clients to work with, and I will imagine how it's going to feel when those 10 women have connected with me, right? Whether they're coaching clients, counseling clients, women in private practice needing some support, whatever it is, new women in the group, it doesn't matter. So when I connect with someone and they start working with me, that's really exciting for me. I love that. And I will often say to the women that I work with, you made my day, because it's so true. They do make my day. And I get energized by hearing about how they've overcome a challenge in the past week. And they did it by shifting a perspective or a mindset, or tapping into their soul, tuning into their body, getting out of that masculine and into that beautiful feminine energy. And so what I would suggest is really think about how you're going to feel when you've got that fully booked diary, and find a way of cultivating that feeling as you set your intention. And then what you want to do is set that intention each and every day and get into the feeling of already having it. Because then what you're doing is you're sending out a message to the universe, if you like. Well, it's really based in quantum physics. You know, there's a lot of, in the unified field, there's all sorts of potentials out there, and you having a fully booked diary is one of those potentials. But in order for you to be a magnet for that potential, you have to vibrate at the same frequency as that potential, right? So that's just physics in like 25 words or less. But that's what you need to do. That's how it's done, right? A bit of a crash course there for you. So the secret, I think, to filling the diary for me as well has to be able to stop doing, right? Stop hustling. Everybody says, oh, hustle, hustle. No, don't. In this community, we know hustle doesn't work, right? It's not about how much you're doing. It's about who you are being. So really think about, who am I being right now? And how is that affecting the referrals that are coming through the practice? And be honest with yourself, guys. It's not going to be nice maybe to look in the mirror and see that you've been someone who's been operating from fear and scarcity. But think about who you let's think about, I've got a fully booked diary now, feel great, feel on top of the world. Well, who are you being then? Who is that version of you, right? And just free write what she's about. Free write what she says to herself, what she thinks, what she does, what are her behaviors, all those sorts of things. And that helps you shift into who do you want to be, right? And the other thing that can really help too is thinking about how you want to feel in the day. Thinking about how you want to feel. So this morning I did a meditation. I've got my candle going as I'm talking to you. I set my intention today, and my intention today is to feel really organized. I've got a lot on today. I'm getting interviewed for an international webinar at 9 o'clock. I've got an assessment for a course I'm doing in less than an hour. Plus I've got a couple of coaching clients to see, and this is all happening before lunchtime, and I wanted to get this out to you. So it's old me might have felt very frazzled by that, and might have been feeling very scattered and feeling very oh no, what's next. So I set the intention today to feel really organized, because I know when I'm organized, I'm calm and I'm in control. I'm directing my day instead of reacting to it. And so I take that intention a step further by asking, how can I embody being organized? How can I embody the feeling of being organized? Well, what I've done is I've printed off all of the things for each of my clients. I've printed off my running sheet for the webinar. I've printed off my notes for my assessment this morning. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've done all of these things, and I've got up early. I've put the coffee on. I've had a shower. I feel good. and I feel really, really calm and in control. So this is what I mean. You want to operate from the end. You want to operate from the result. So in terms of filling your diary, think about imagining that you already have a fully booked diary. Whatever that looks like for you, your diary, however many days and sessions, is fully booked, right? Now reverse engineer that and think to yourself, how did I get here? What did I do? How did I go from not having any bookings, perhaps, if you're brand new, to getting this diary fully booked? What did I do? What strategies did I use? Think about that and do some stream of consciousness writing around that and see what comes through, okay? So I hope this was a powerful episode for you. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, head over to the website and access your free training on private practice. The website is just brooklynstorme.com. Storm has an E on the end, as you know, and I'll drop the link for you in the show notes. Let me know how you go with this. If you find this podcast helpful, I would love it and be so appreciative and thankful if you could. Please leave me a review. And if there's a topic you'd like me to help you out with, I'm always open to having suggestions, so do feel free to send me an email. The email is just hello@brooklynstorme.com. That sounded really Australian then, didn't it? I was like, hello. All right, have a beautiful day. I will see you on Saturday for the next episode. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.